of the old books, and you could hear people turning the pages, and you could hear at the time they had the, the, what is it, the card system, the Dewey, the
Do
opening and
that.
close. Yeah, they'd open and close, and I'd hear these, and I would watch librarians like, gosh, that is a gold job. Here's what I wanted to do in life. I wanted to talk, and I wanted to write, and I thought I was going to have a career working in retail in a record store. I wanted to sell music, and that's basically it. To get paid to talk and write. That was my goal, and have always wanted to. Got involved in speech in high school, and always radio, television, broadcasting. I tried to take it in college, and I wrecked the car, and Dad said, "You're not going back." That's it. You know him. You know him. He said, "That's it." So then I got into retail, and the rest is history. I don't know. I counted up the other day. I think I've had 16 jobs in my life. But on the other side of that, you asking me and turning the tables here and asking me a couple of these things, it really got me. It really got me, Todd, because yeah, I'm living the dream.
Yeah, and for nothing but for your own happiness. You're not getting paid bazillions of dollars.
No.
It's something you dreams without goals are just dreams.
Yeah.
So dream big, but you got to work hard, and you got to move your feet, and you got to keep doing what you're doing, and keep that in sight. Because if you don't, people let it go. Then we were talking about earlier that coulda, shoulda, woulda. I wish I woulda. I coulda, and I've never had more fun and more. How do I want to word this? Mental stability in a sense of where I'm at in life now than I ever had previous. Just because of the things I'm doing, things I get to do, things I'm in the honor to get asked to do. Um,
You,
Simple things,
yeah.
little things.
You had a post one day, and I loved it. And I'm 99.9% sure it was you. There's you, and there's another buddy of mine. His name is Mike Wine, and he posts really cool stuff too that gets me thinking. And it was about getting to. I get to wake up. I get to go to work. I get to, you know, go through the day. I get to, instead of saying I have to. And
Yeah,
it really is something. And that even when you're in a place where you are frustrated with your life, find out in your life the things that you get to do. If you're miserable and you're getting up and you're going to a job that you hate, then you counter that with, I get to be a part of this universe. I get to play the game. I get to be a part of a team at work, even if it's a team I don't want to be on. But I will tell you this, anybody who's listening that's in the middle of a career or a situation where, because when you are working 8 to 5 or whatever your hours are and you're employed in that fashion, that's where the majority of your life is. So if you are just in a rut, in a place where you can't switch jobs, you have to hold it down to keep it for your family, I understand that. I do. And you're scared to make a move. But what I highly recommend is realizing that even though you might hate your job, there are certain things that keep you going, and you still get up and you still get going and you still show up for work. And maybe you're a single mom and you're raising that baby alone, and you know that this is the only way that it's going to pay for whether it's daycare or whatever. I highly recommend finding the things in your day that you get to do. So I get to go to this lousy job that I hate to get paid so that I get to raise my daughter and provide, so that I get to buy food to put on the table. And it's going to take hard work. and it's going to take trust and faith in yourself. Todd, we will lean towards kind of wrapping this up, but one of the things that I wanted to see, we talked about other things and did our thing, but one of the things that, when we opened up and we were talking about trust and faith, when you really became aware, say in that hospital bed, and you were buried in plaster and all of that, I know you were frustrated. I know the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I know it. It was an accident, but I know, just like myself, if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't have fallen. And so I'm assuming there might have been a little bit of that. But you had to take that somewhere and just throw your hands up, if they would have moved, and say, it's all you. You had to put trust and faith in something to be able to trust what? You were having surgery like I have dinner. I mean, you said 9 surgeries in 9 days. That's faith. That's trust.
Mm-hmm. Well, the biggest part of my frustration at the time was because I didn't understand. I didn't understand why this was happening to me. I was trying to figure out something that was impossible to do. It wasn't my job to figure it out. It wasn't my place. I'm not God. Okay? It happened. Accidents happen. Life happens. And I didn't understand it. I didn't want to understand it. And that frustrated me more. And it took a lot of, I didn't do it alone. I had a lot of amazing people around me. I had a lot of amazing nurses and doctors. I had some of the sweetest people who would just come in there and just sit and talk. And like I have always been my whole life, very high strung, very high energy, to being literally locked into a bed for 6 weeks. Well, longer than that. That was just an ICU. So I had to stop, and I was getting to the point where I was counting little holes in the ceiling tiles and the bricks on the wall, and my brain wouldn't stop running. And it took a lot to just focus on the positive things. One of the biggest things was I had told you this before, was with Mom. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a relationship with Mom before I got hurt. There was very, very little. It was nil. And to her being there every day in and day out, she didn't leave. She wouldn't leave. So I regained that relationship back. We got to sit down and talk, and because she didn't understand alcoholism when I was doing my thing then, she would always just go, why can't you just stop? Yeah. Why don't you just stop? It's not that simple. If it was, I would, but it just wasn't that simple. But to the point where we got to sit down, and, well, I was already laying down, but she was in listen. I got all these things back. I got my relationship with my mom back. I got friends and family that were there, that were in and out, that I was in their prayers at a time when I thought I didn't matter to nobody. So there was a reason for it to happen. Did it have to be that extreme? I don't know. I can't put,
It's like, hey.
Maybe God was telling me to slow down, because I started getting into not bad habits, but bad old behaviors in a sense of, because I love to work. I am a workaholic in an aspect of that nature. I started putting my recovery towards the back, and I was starting, instead of working to live and sustain life, I was living to work. And I was putting everything ahead of what I needed to be doing. Did I have a different purpose in life? I don't know. I'm still doing it. I just go day to day and see what happens.
Yeah.
But so far up until this point, it's worked out pretty good. I'm a very blessed human being. I am very happy. I have just some of the most amazing people in my life, and everything keeps happening and growing. Look what I get to do now. Every Tuesday morning, I get to talk to you. We get to have these conversations, topics, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't talk like this 5 years ago.
No.
Look what we have now. Another bonding relationship in life. Another rekindled thing in life. When we were kids, when I was younger, and I was always at the house, we had a very close relationship.
Yep.
And then life happens. So life always comes full circle. Look at the beautiful things we get to experience again, not once, but twice. That's just you and I. And it's continuing to grow, and it's continuing to happen. All because you decided one day, I'm going live, damn it.
Oh,
and here we are.
And here we are.
So all these things drop into place for a reason, full circle. Now, if I would have been an alcoholic or fell in a hole, I'd be kind of boring, huh? You know?
Oh, God. We never lose our sense of humor, do we?
No, hell no. I tell you what, if Tim, I got a little antidote for Tim. If he, and I'm sure he listens, or you obviously talk to him.
Oh yeah.
If he gets even a little bit of touch of anxiety before he goes in,
mm-hmm.
tell him to say shoulder surgery 5 times really fast. I bet he can. Try it.
I'll tell him. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. You know, just all the things that you just said. Yes. Wow. And thank you. It's the self-awareness and the listening that something rocks us in our world to start listening instead of telling. And I started listening. And there is a book, it's Jen Sincero, it's called The Badass Book. Gina got it for me for my birthday a couple years ago. And I read that book and it absolutely changed my life. 100%. So the written word, whichever written word it might be for you, absolutely changed my life. And she said, you need to start calling out to the universe what you want. And you need to open up your heart to be able to receive. And I talked yesterday about getting rid of that stuff. I'm still staring at a blank wall in my living room. But you take all of that stuff off. Why was I making that wall so heavy? And I want to repurpose and redesign and get a really fresh, light, airy feel in my home. But this started months and months ago. And I just said, you know what? At least I know this. I'm taking all of that down off the wall. Now, what I did was stacked it up in another area of my house. So it's little steps that we make to get rid of some of the old baggage and empty out the suitcase, if you will, so that other stuff you can fill it up with hope and faith and trust and love again. And I was harboring, you know, we talk about alcoholism or heroin or any type of drug abuse. I was addicted to harboring the woulda, shoulda, coulda guilt. I mean, I think that can be as much of a disease as anything because it was absolutely trapping me. And it wasn't until I started letting go that other stuff that I was allowing it to come in. And you're absolutely right, Todd. This to me, like I said, I know I got choked up, and you're asking me questions, and I didn't expect that, and I love that. That you just totally threw me off my game. You know, I have a vision, you know, of what's going to be, and I love when the unexpected happens, and I thank you for that, for kind of shattering that a little bit, and it was so fun. And it really opened my heart. So today was a lot different than what I had thought. And wouldn't you agree, Todd, that most of our anxiety, most of our fear, most of our troubles are from things that haven't happened yet? So I'm thinking about Thursday. I'm thinking about surgery. I'm thinking about Gina flying, me flying. It's not there yet. Gina's on her plane. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. So I got my little universe trying to wrap their arms around that plane and get her where she needs to be safely. But we just don't know.
No.
I mean, it
No.
is. It's a constant unknown.
Life is not scripted.
No, we think we're in control.